going the way we have been.
Ready?
Yep.
Yes.
What's up, everyone? What? Come on, Tyler.
My dad's coming up. Give me a second. I'm gonna have to tell him.
Well, just mute.
Podcast.
Mute yourself. All right. I'll start with Ryan.
All right.
Hey, what's up, Dad?
He didn't
What's
mute
going
himself.
on?
Of course.
Ryan, you remember my dad?
What's up? Oh,
Yo, hey.
Yes, absolutely.
Dad, say hi to Ryan. Remember Ryan?
What's going on, buddy? Hello.
All right.
Are you ready,
all right,
Tyler?
Yes, Dad. You can't be loud here. Anyways.
All right.
Are you boys ready?
Yeah, man. I'm super ready. I'm pumped.
Okay.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
What's up and welcome to Tyler. Shut up. Come on. Okay, I'm gonna do like a 3, 2, 1 like countdown.
Turn into Wayne.
Yes, countdown. Yes.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. Shut up. What's up and welcome to another episode of the Grindline Podcast. This is episode 57 on the 19th of February 2019, and we have a show tonight. I am here. Why did you hold up a 4?
I thought it was 47.
Are we at 47?
I think we're at 47.
47. All right.
Wonderful.
God damn it. All right. Here we go.
We could have just kept it.
No, people get real confused.
All right, go ahead.
What's up and welcome to another episode of the Grindline Podcast. This is episode 47 on the 19th of February 2019. We have a lot to talk about tonight, but as always, I am here with Ryan and Tyler. How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing good.
Go ahead, Tyler. Go right ahead.
I'm doing good. How you doing, Ryan?
I'm fantastic because what people don't know is this is about the 4th attempt at trying to get this thing started this evening. So let's do it.
We just cannot get our shit together tonight, but there is we got some pretty big stuff come through the pipe today. We've got a few things to go over, but I think what we're going to start with is, I'm sure what everyone has seen, is the Nick Jensen report. First came out a tweet today from Brian Lawton, the venerable Brian Lawton, who says, I am hearing interest is picking up for Detroit Red Wings right shot D and impending UFA Nick Jensen. Current asking price is believed to be a second rounder plus, with clubs offering a third. Excellent puck mover that can really skate and defend, would be a great addition to any playoff team. So I'm not surprised. And then there have been people calling for, especially a lot of Leafs fans, for Kyle Dubas to, saying, well, if they're asking for a second and a third, do it. So I'd like to get your guys' take on the Nick Jensen report that's going on, and I think we'll start with you, Ryan.
I mean, if the price is right, there's no reason not to. What scares me, and I'm looking at the Winging It in Motown article here. I think it was at Kyle is who put it together. No, excuse me. That's what I saw the report. But if you trade Jensen, granted you got Hronek back in the lineup, but that more than likely puts Eriksson back in the lineup. And then do you call up Cholowski, or are they going to let him down? Their defense isn't getting younger by getting rid of Jensen, even though he's 28 years old. But if you trade him for a second and you get one extra, maybe a mid-tier prospect or a third, you got to do it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with it. A lot of the problem I see with people is like, we'll get rid of Eriksson or get rid of Daly or Cronwall. No one's going to take them.
No.
Jensen has value, and you can trade something with value. And sure, we're not going to get any younger this year by trading Jensen, but we don't need to. We need to lose. So we'll get younger next year by trading Jensen. Tyler, what do you think of the Jensen report?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me. He's an impending UFA. It seems like they're not going to re-sign him, and even if they do re-sign him, it looks like there's more interest in from other teams than it looks like that Ken Holland and the Red Wings party has in re-signing him. So, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked to see him moved on Monday. And the other thing is Jensen. Yeah, I mean, he's also another guy that could end up coming back. If they were to trade him to Toronto or whoever, is going to be interested in him, he could come back in the summer. Or if you really want to get younger and let kids play, you trade Jensen and then you call up Cholowski and play him with Hronek and just let Eriksson waste his time on the ninth floor or whatever you want to call it. So that's what I would do. I know they're not going to do that. So I mean, you trade Jensen, that means Eriksson's back in the lineup basically.
Yeah. Which for the rest of the season you should be fine with.
Yeah, and if he does stay,
I would honestly love to never see him play again, to be honest with you. But that would just be my wish, but that's not going to happen. So,
if Jensen's playing, and if he doesn't go anywhere, it was the article I was thinking it was Boltman from the Athletic today. If he stays and they can keep him for cheap next year with Eriksson dropping off, as long as they can bring, if you got Hronek and Cholowski, and then Eriksson is your scratch or number 7. I am okay with that in the final year of his contract. So if you can still trade him, though, do it.
See, my thing is they wouldn't. I think scratching of Eriksson last game was a fluke thing and just to appease people. I'm not sure they would. Well, I'm not sure they would give Eriksson the Witkowski role next season just to keep Cholowski and Hronek in the lineup. So I think if Kronwall retires, that's an ideal situation, but it's sounding more and more like that's not going to happen.
Right.
So
I mean, if I'd be okay with it though.
Syndrome.
One at a time. What?
Go ahead, Tyler.
I said Nick Kronwall has the Dan Cleary syndrome where he just doesn't know when it's time to give it up.
Yeah, well, the other half of that syndrome is Ken Holland.
That true. Touche.
So I think if Kronwall doesn't retire and Holland signs him to a team-friendly 1-year contract just to let him live out his glory days, it's not helping, and you have to trade Jensen. That's the thing. I think if you see a Jensen trade, it might almost be Holland admitting that they're going to re-sign Kronwall.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can't do any. I think one of because they got to get rid of 2 defensemen to play Cholowski and Hronek full time. So you would have to tell Kronwall, listen, we love what you did for us, but your time's up, and then you'd have to ship out Jensen. That leaves 2 full-time slots because Eriksson's got another year left on his contract. So does Daly, so does Mike Green. DeKaiser has a few years, so you've got to move 2.
Yeah.
And buying out, I don't think does any good for Daly or Eriksson either for the final year.
That also. No. Oh, go ahead, guys. Sorry.
No, yeah, buying out Eriksson or Daly doesn't make any sense. You might as well you're going to suck probably next year anyways, so you might as well suck real bad.
I'm intrigued, so I'm looking at cap friendly, but you can continue.
I was just going to say, if Kronwall doesn't retire and then Eriksson is back next year, and obviously you're probably going to trade Jensen, and so that would probably still wouldn't give you enough to see Hronek and Cholowski in the lineup every night, but it also wouldn't give you an opportunity to see the guys down in Grand Rapids either, like Hicketts or Sulak or any of those guys down there RV, any of those guys that you still want to see play NHL hockey. You're still not going to see them because you have these old guys in the lineup still.
No, but I think if I'm being honest, I think Joe Hicketts gets traded.
It's a possibility.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure there's any room for him on the team at this point.
No, I don't. For where they're at and how old he's getting, yes, he's a Torrey Krug-esque almost, but he's just not there.
He's also smaller than Krug. I think that's another thing. I don't know if defense in that stature can play in the NHL, but he is physical, and I mean that there is a place in the game for that still, obviously.
I tell you what, the Wings should look at buying out Trevor Daly next year after the season's over.
Oh, he's been horrendous, I think.
His cap hit would be 1.69 for the first year, and then drops to 733 the second year. This is per cap friendly. And then Eriksson would be 1.4 each season.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible, but we buy out players generally who cost us millions for years. We don't make smart buyout decisions, so we're still paying for Stephen Weiss.
Well, I mean, if that was a move they'd make for either one of those guys, it would be very much worth it, especially to make room back there.
Well, I think what we're going to do is we're going to go from depressing to even more depressing and talk about how the Wings have performed the past month or so. And Ryan's going to kick us off with that because Ryan has the numbers pulled up.
And I love bringing fucking darkness.
Just
so since February,
Armageddon on our.
So since February 1st, the Wings have won a whopping 3 out of their 9 games. one of those wins in overtime against Toronto, as Greg Krupa would like to say. They had another win the next night, a shutout of Ottawa. And then their next win go 10 days later in Nashville. I'm sorry, 4 wins. And then they won the next night against Ottawa again. But overall, it has not been a pretty showing. They've looked their greatest against the shittiest teams and somehow beat Nashville, who's been one of the most streakiest teams in the league, I think, even though they're still a top team. But you move forward, and to Greg's point, what did you predict? 6 more wins the rest of the year?
Probably.
If that,
6 or 7, yep.
It's not pretty. I mean, they've got Chicago tomorrow night, which is hopefully going to be a win. And then it gets downhill because they got Minnesota. This is the stretch that they have. It's a partial home, finishing the home stand and then going on a road trip. So they go Minnesota, San Jose, Montreal, possible relief against Arizona, but they've looked good. And then they've got Colorado, New York, Tampa, Florida is your hope for a win. And then again at Montreal. And then they play, that's it. That's the end of that road trip. And then it goes to getting close to the end of the season here. Tampa, New York, Islanders, the Rangers, the Blues, the Knights, the Sharks, the Sabres.
All on the road.
Yeah.
The Devils. Devils back at home and Boston at home. Then you got Pittsburgh, Sabres, and that's your season.
Yeah.
That is a shit show and a half.
That's a big old boot in your ass. The thing with that too is you're forgetting who probably one of the biggest players at the trade deadline for Panarin's going to be, and that's the Florida Panthers. So your win against Florida might not be a win against Florida. So
really, actually, a couple of those teams are apparently on Panarin sweepstakes to include, I think Boston was in there, right? They're in the mix.
Yep. So I think maybe 6 or 7 wins, which if we do that and we don't have another loss at overtime, my prediction on the season will be off by 1 game, which I think is pretty good. So,
do you have all of our predictions up?
No, I just have mine. I was checking back on Facebook today. They were doing a prediction contest, and if it goes the way I think it's going to go, I'm going to win the contest. And I don't know what I win yet, but we'll see what happens.
We're going to have to revisit our early season talk to see what I think we did at points. Did we actually do record, though? I can't remember.
I think we did points. I've been stuck basically with, I think it was 67 points from the beginning of the season.
What did I say? I wonder.
I have no idea. We'll have to revisit and then go over it on the next podcast.
Right.
But things are not looking good for the Wings coming up.
Nope.
The Wings have also not looked good, so that's the other half of it. But Dylan Larkin's chugging along.
They did score 5 goals though against Philly, a bad Philly team.
Yeah, and Mantha scored 2.
And Mantha's the shittiest player on the planet.
Yeah, people want to throw him under the bus, and then he goes scores 2 goals, and then they still want to throw him under the bus.
God, I dealt with some fun Flyers fans this weekend.
Oh my God, that was awesome on Saturday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved every bit of it.
What's fantastic is not one time did I say that I thought that his hit on Giroux from behind was a good hit. I just said that it could have been a lot worse, and Giroux tried to sell it. Jesus Christ, you thought World War III had started.
Well, you thought that we brought up Kotkaniemi to Habs fans.
No, we might have found the new Achilles heel. Ooh, I like that. We need to tell Rohan.
I'll tell you what about that whole thing, right? And I forget what it was. Oh, this is what it was. He was saying that Anthony Mantha's always doing dirty things, and I tweeted at the guy. I'm like, when was the last time Anthony Mantha has ever done anything dirty besides what he did to Giroux? And the guy said, "Oh, he's just a dirty player." Like, what?
They say that every time.
There was another Flyers fan that tweeted at me saying that Gustav Nyquist was a dirty player. I don't like.
No, dirtiest player on the Wings is what he said.
Nyquist?
Nyquist.
Yes.
More than Witkowski?
Nyquist.
It's just people that don't watch anything outside of their own team.
Mm-hmm.
I hate people like that.
Anyways.
Well, we're going to get out of this black hole because we really can't say anything more about how the Wings have played. I mean, poor defense as always, okay goaltending as always, and just the offense is good. But when the offense is good, then the defense is worse. So it's been all right. But we're gonna move. We're gonna move to the brightest spot of the Red Wings, which are the people that aren't playing yet. So we're gonna start with some stuff I thought was pretty phenomenal in our top defensive prospect. I would call him right now the top defensive prospect we have, which would be Jared McIsaac. So Jared McIsaac this season so far with the Halifax Mooseheads, he has 52 points in 42 games. He is currently on a 6-game point streak and has points in 13 of the last 14. He is third in the QMJHL D-men for scoring and first in points per game among defensemen. He has 131 points in a Halifax jersey and is now the second highest scoring defenseman in Halifax history. So that's looking pretty good. And he's been on an absolute tear since the World Juniors.
He's on an entry-level deal, right? Did they sign him to his... Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Yes, they did. Yep.
He's 18 years old.
Yeah, I think he might be in Grand Rapids next season. I would assume he'd be in Grand Rapids. I think.
Does he have enough years in the ECHL? Or I'm sorry, the juniors.
I'll have to check.
He's 18. He's played one.
I think he's in his third.
1, 2, 3. He'll be in his fourth season, so he has, I think, one more to finish out.
So Jared McIsaac will have to play another season in the Q unless he can make the Wings. I don't see him with our defense situation.
Nope,
he's not making the Wings, so he'll be in the juniors again next year. But it's looking very promising. I've watched some highlight clips of him. He knows where to be and when to be there. He creates space and he finds open lanes. And the kid's nuts. And he was injured for a little bit, but he's just really good, and I think he's a steal for where we got him.
Beautiful.
Absolutely.
The next person we're going to talk about, which I think we can go a little bit more into depth on, is Joe Veleno. Joe Veleno has 89 points in 47 games, which is insane. He has 38 goals and 41 assists and I hate this plus-minus stat, but Joe Veleno's a plus 51. And he leads the team. Now, I think when you get like, oh, he's a minus 10 or he's a plus 14, okay, but who cares? He's a plus 51.
Holy shit.
Like, that's insane. So Joe Veleno, I think he's one of the ones that I think could crack the lineup next season as your second or third line center, because we really don't have a solid second line center currently.
What is his upside? Is he a first line center or a second line center?
I think second line center. I think Larkin's your first line center.
On this team, I think on this team, yeah. I mean, I think
what if you get Hughes?
Then you roll with 3 stud lines and 3 stud centers.
No, well, I get that, but who's the first line center?
Larkin's your first line center.
Larkin's going to be your number one, but I mean, overall, you're going to have these guys that are just going to be. Larkin will be your top go getter. Then you interchange Hughes and Veleno. It's going to be pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I think so.
Problem to have, though.
Even if the Red Wings got the first overall pick, they might just end up taking Kakko anyways, depending on how they think Veleno will pan out.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we need goal scoring wingers, and Kakko's your goal scoring winger. So,
God, he's been beautiful to see highlights for.
Would he make the team right out of camp?
I don't see why not.
The way he's looking right now overseas, absolutely.
He's playing in a men's league too, so
yeah.
But Joe Veleno, I think I watched him at Dev Camp. He's just so smart on the ice. He'll have the highest hockey IQ out there, probably right up there with Larkin on the ice. He undresses players. He knows where people are going to be before they get there. He just is a smooth skating guy, and again, steal. They say he could be a steal of the draft. Also, how he dropped all the way to 30, nobody can say why. Again, he had that exceptional status to play in the CHL at, what was it, 16?
15.
Or 15?
15
At
years old.
15 years old?
Yeah.
So,
Which makes him eligible this coming season for the AHL.
yeah. So he's a stud guy that they for some reason were able to get super late, and no scout will tell you why he was passed up or how he dropped to where he dropped, but a lot of scouts will tell you that the Red Wings pulled one off by getting him at 30.
He didn't have the greatest season last year. It looks like he had some injuries.
Yeah, he struggled a little bit last year, but I looked up Joe Veleno on Twitter real quick. So Max Boltman, January 21st, a crazy stat on Joe Veleno for the season. As of January 21st, he had 6 shorthanded goals compared to just 2 power play goals.
Jesus.
So this guy, he's bringing on both ends, like both spectrums of offense and defense.
That's like the typical Red Wings center that you look for too. A guy that can play offense, but he can also come back and help his defense and help his goaltender out. I mean, think of the past centermen, Datsuk, Zetterberg, Eisenberg.
Look what Larkin and Helm or Larkin and Glendening do together out there.
Right.
Yeah. So I think Veleno is one of our bright spots coming up. He's, like I said, I think he could have made the team out of camp this season. There was just no spot for him. So there was no roster space to plug him into, and they told him to come to camp this off season, ready to the team next year. And I think he is more than capable of doing that and pushing someone down a spot, or out of a spot. So
there can always be even if you as well. I mean, that's another thing that people don't realize. Like, no, I don't mean now. I mean like in the summertime, that may free up some winger spots or center spots.
Well, yeah, Glendening. If you ship even if you ship Glendening this season, you open up a spot for Veleno next season.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we
are we still high on Svechnikov? Is there any chance that Svechnikov's going to be a part of this future of this team or no?
If he trains his ass off, then yeah, I think there is. They need a scoring winger. If he can be the scoring winger they're hoping for, especially for the year that how his brother came in and made the early impact and the season he's having. If they're training together and he's got some confidence going in after this knee injury, absolutely.
Yeah, people are still projecting Svechnikov as a middle six guy, even with the injuries. So I don't see why not. What I said is they should probably, if he can come back, they should play him a few games here just to see how he's coming back. Like let him rehab stint for 4 or 5 games in Grand Rapids and then end the season here maybe, just to see how much he's got to work on, what he's got to work on. Let him work on it in the off season, then come into camp, because he would have been on the roster this season if he didn't get injured.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think they've got some work to do with him there, but I think they're right. He could be a middle six winger, no problem, especially on this team.
I mean, for the roster they've got, they don't have a scoring guy like that, but technically.
When are we going to see Zadina? Is that coming?
Yeah, well, Ryan's got the stats on Zadina. We will see him next month. They'll give him his 9 games.
Yeah, he's going to get his 9, and that'll be about it. But for his season so far with the Grand Rapids Griffins, he started out kind of slow, depending on who you talk to. Some people thought he was looking good. Some people, actually, I'd say most people thought he was off to a rough start, not really up to the speed and pace of the AHL and playing with the men's league. But through 43 games in the season, Filip Zadina has 15 goals, 14 assists for 29 points. He is a -10 of note, though, over his last several games. I just found this fun little stat. He's got goals in 3 straight games and points in 4 straight. And everybody you pretty much talked to over the last, I'd say, month or so, this guy is he's looking like he's preparing himself to be in the NHL. I think there's an extra level of confidence coming from him, especially for the trade deadline approaching. I think he's trying to play his way into this roster. And like to your guys' point, that 9-game trial is coming soon. It's a matter of when, not if. So to me, I hope it's sooner rather than later. But obviously, we're gonna have to wait for the trade deadline to happen first.
Right.
Well, I think they pissed him off by misutilizing him in the World Juniors. And then all the reports came out saying he had a terrible World Juniors, but He didn't have a good World Juniors because they didn't play him correctly. They should have played him on the top line with Martin Neckhess and whoever else was up there, but they kept stuffing him on the second and third line with. I mean, there were 4 notable players on that team. The other guys no one had ever heard of, and when you stick him with nobodies that can't get him the puck, I mean, he's not going to grab the puck, go down the ice, and score by himself. There's got to be some help.
Yep.
So you put him with people that are able to make plays, and of course Zadina himself can make plays, but you put him with playmakers and you put him with people that can feed him the puck, and he'll score. That's what he's doing right now in Grand Rapids. Like you said, I think his last 2 games were multi-point games too.
Yeah,
so,
and then OT winner again the other night against San Antonio, which was beautiful.
Beautiful shot.
That was nice.
So I think not just think. I know you're going to see Zadina this season for probably a 9-game trial to finish it out.
Don't want to burn the entry level year, and
no sense in that.
You don't want to expose him to Seattle. That's
exactly. That's the biggest thing, because I forgot somebody mentioned that the other day about Kakaniemi with the year that he's had, is that now Montreal in their situation is going to be forced to protect him.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely.
But yeah, I'm just excited to see how Zadina's been. And you talk to a lot of the folks that cover the Grand Rapids, and they would say the same.
Yeah, Zadina's progressing, and he's going to be, I think, still will be a special guy.
Yes.
I think Zadina reminds me a lot of Nikita Kucherov. The way he shoots the puck is insane.
Fucking hope so. 18 points in 5 games.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about that because Tampa makes me irrationally angry.
I won't go there.
But we'll move on to the last prospect we're going to touch on tonight, which is Gustav Lindstrom. So Gustav Lindstrom's numbers might not be super impressive. He has 6 points in 36 games. I think it's 3 goals and 3 assists. He is playing in a men's league, but he is logging over 18 minutes a night. And Sean Horkoff has stated that he plays a complete game. If he keeps playing the way he plays, he might make some mistakes, but he doesn't let it bother him, and he learns from them. So
did you mention he was a defenseman?
Yeah, he's a defenseman. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't hear you say that. I just want to make sure that everyone was clear that that's what you're referring to.
Yeah, he's a defenseman, and he's more of a shutdown guy. He plays on the penalty kill. He's a big body, and they're saying he can be a middle 2 guy. So I think one of your worries is, well, who's going to come in and fill these spots? We've got garbage D prospects besides McIsaac, and I always have to bring up, well, Gustav Lindstrom's being billed as a middle 2 guy. So I started out really worried about defense, and then looking over stats of some of the people we've got, I worry a little less, because when contracts like Daly fall off or contracts like Mike Green fall off, you maybe have to suffer a year, and then I think Lindstrom needs maybe 2 more seasons before he comes in.
Yeah. And he's got a lot of high praise. Looking at an Athletic article that just came out about him, and he's biggest thing that you pick out from him, he's also a right-handed shot. So even if he's maybe not the most point producing, just having that extra aspect that most teams tend to cherish, like look at Jensen and Mike Green, for instance, and Hronek, it brings an extra aspect to the blue line. And it actually is kind of fun to think about the Red Wings having 4 right-handed shots back there. But
oh my God,
he's part of the potential that of the recent draft picks that could really give a new identity, if you will, to the Red Wings back end. So it'll be fun to watch to see how he comes around, especially coming off his injury for this season.
Well, I think they need an identity other than garbage.
Yeah. I think we're getting to the point where they're starting to hit on some of these picks, or at least it looks like they're starting to hit on some of these picks that they've made over the last 3 or 4 years. And even if you go back to Svechnikov, 4 or 5 years. So like Cholowski was a guy that a lot of people thought when they took him that was like a reach, and then same with Svechnikov. But we'll see what happens when it comes to Svechnikov. But like Cholowski was apparently a reach at the time, and he's turned into a good defenseman. Although you talk to Ken Holland, and like, or Jeff Blashill, and it's like he did something wrong on his own freaking bobblehead.
Yeah, it's like he kicked his dog or something.
Yeah, I don't get it, but I guess at the end of the day, the way you rebuild is you have patience and you hit on your picks, and I feel like the patience is there from the fans and the ownership and everything.
Yeah, is it though? Well, the Facebook patience is not there. The Twitter patience is okay.
I'm not just how the fuck you do Facebook. I check some of the comments and then see that you comment, and I think about I've deleted probably a dozen different comments of responses that I was going to make, and then realized I don't want to deal with that goddamn headache because of how just irrational and stupid people are on Facebook.
Yeah, I agree.
I had someone last week, and if you didn't see it, you guys got to follow us on Twitter. But if you didn't see it, someone tried telling me that Athanasiou is better than Dylan Larkin.
Oh yeah.
Because he's faster and he can deke people better.
Oh, nice.
And I'm like, okay, but what does that have to literally do with anything? Because Larkin is a complete 200-foot player. He's a setup guy. He can score goals. He has high hockey IQ. He draws penalties. I mean, he's a complete package. But Athanasiou is fast and can deke people better, so that makes them the same.
Skill set wise, maybe Athanasiou is better. His hands might be better. His shot might be better.
They're not. It's not.
Speed is probably a little tick lower, but like. I mean, I could see the argument, but if you're going to tell me Athanasiou is a better hockey player than Dylan Larkin, I'm going to say that that's false because Larkin does everything that a captain should do, really. I mean, he blocked shots.
Oh, I found it.
Penalty. He does everything that you want in a captain or a leader of your hockey team, and, you know, he does it just about to the best of his ability.
I found the quote. Can I read them?
Go ahead.
Fantastic. All right, it starts out. The quote unquote from Greg, holy shit, guys. And here's the Facebook quote in all its glory. AA is arguably better than Larkin. Plus, Velino, spelled Velino, and Zadina are proof right there.
That's Billy Leno in disguise.
So, plus, Velino and Zadina are proof right there. Joe goes 30th pick, and he's fucking destroying this year. Zadina, not so much. And then it goes on. AA dekes better, has a faster shot, and does a lot better in traffic getting away from other players. Larkin's a better team player, playmaker, and passer. They equal out to about the same.
What?
I mean,
none of...
Not to mention that Larkin's 22 years old. And also not to mention that AA's hands are not that great.
If he's in open, he can be, but he's kind of like Tatar.
He needs open ice.
Yes. Like him and Tatar reminded me of each other quite a bit, especially when Tatar was younger, because he would try to do so much shit and then turn it over. It's like he was trying to be Datsuk 2.0 and it would just fail. And then when it worked...
You know how many times I've seen Athanasiou skate directly into two defenders this year?
Oh,
because he thinks he can go around them.
It's like watching.
Greg is not a big Athanasiou guy.
No, he my fiance put it best. He's Athanasiou is Luis Mendoza.
The thing is Athanasiou, sure, he's good. He's not elite. He's not what a lot of people try making him out to be. I don't see him as the future of this team because I still think he has an attitude problem.
He's a role player.
I still think that he puts himself above everyone else, and he tries to overdo stuff on every shift. You're not just going to break through two defenders. The way you score is by standing at the line, waiting for the team in the defensive zone to screw up.
Mm-hmm.
And then us getting a turnover, getting you the puck, and letting you race away. If you've got more than one person around you, you're screwed. So
unless you're Datsuk.
Well, yeah, I mean, but it's not. He's not half of the hockey player Datsuk was.
No.
So don't try telling me that Athanasiou is better than Larkin, because that's just you lose all credibility. Gone.
Yeah.
If you had any credibility in the first place. So
can we also just talk about the fact that I'm looking through the Twitter right now, and you tweeted out 9 times the missing Chris Osgood photo?
Oh yeah, I did, because I thought it was hilarious. Again, Chris Osgood is still missing, so we have no idea where he is.
Surgery, apparently.
That's been the comment, but no one's confirmed it. I'm happy Murph is back though.
Yeah, can we all take a second to welcome back Larry Murphy?
I'm very
really
happy.
Excited.
Let's
Love
just
him and his nerd glasses.
This time.
Yeah.
No, I think he's over his alcoholism.
Is that what it was? Like it actually?
Yeah, there was actual like on air. I haven't seen the
on air drunkenness.
Yeah.
So he had basically what McCarty had.
Pretty much. Well, maybe not to that extent.
Not to that extent, probably.
Similar. I guess you could put it in the same realm, if you will.
By the way, a good listen that I had a few weeks ago, I forgot to mention it, McCarty on Spittin' Chicklets. It was really good.
I heard that was fantastic.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
And then can we also talk about, I'm sorry I'm going through the pod, but can we give a shout out to everyone that's been blocked by Ansar Khan?
Oh God! We were ceremoniously blocked by Ansar Khan this week because I just asked a simple question on why don't you ask the organization why it makes so many bad moves, and then he blocked me. So I've been blocked. I think Helene St. James is next on our list, but we've had a pretty active week. And before we actually, let's go through final thoughts now, and then I'll make the announcements at the end and all that fun stuff. So Ryan, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. I don't even know if I have a final thought this week. We actually ended on a high note, so I'm not like doom and gloom, but I'll just say, fuck you, Erickson. You got what you deserve.
Yeah. And Twitter handle.
Twitter, RDRyan33.
Tyler.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at SealDog91. My final thoughts are that the Red Wings are probably only going to win 6 or 7 games the rest of the season, so get used to losing a lot. Hopefully Larkin continues to play the way he is, and Mantha and Athanasiou and those guys start to follow suit. And then when Zadina comes up, hopefully he fills Montreal's net with as many goals as possible because Zadina is better than Kotkaniemi.
Yes.
No doubt.
And that is a learning point. Someone commented and told us from our podcast they learned how to pronounce Kotkaniemi's name. So that's a high point.
Good way to go, Greg.
I am going to take my final thought section to bring a few things up. We are transferring Twitter handles. We used, as some of you know, we used to be the Winged Octopus podcast. The Winged Octopus, we thought we were great, so we broke off and decided to make our own brand. The thing is that the Winged Octopus is now defunct. The website is down. The Twitter handle is floating in the ether somewhere. We have decided to, yep, I do too. So we've decided to grab it, claim it, and we will be absorbing that base. So if you guys could please go follow at GrindlinePod1 on Twitter. Next week, I will be switching the 2 handles, and that will become the official GrindlinePod Twitter account.
You may already be following it, so that's the other key.
Yeah, you might already be following it.
A lot of people are still. It seems like there's a lot of followers on there, and there's still a lot of active followers, which is good. So,
been a lot more discussion lately, which has been pretty awesome.
Yep. The second thing is you may have seen it today. I have started what is called a Redbubble account. What Redbubble does is lets us sell merch. So I put up our first thing today. I will be working on more designs going forward. There will be a Grindline podcast t-shirt. But right now you can find the t-shirt for the Church of Veleno. It has a logo, everything fun. And it's not just a shirt. You can get it on 46 products. You can get it on travel mugs. You can get it on regular mugs. You can get pants and you can get scarves. And I might get the Church of Veleno bedsheet set. So we might see how that goes. God,
please do this.
You know what? a good shirt would be Zadina greater than Kotkaniemi.
Don't give away our ideas yet, Tyler.
Yeah, so I'm going to be making some shirt designs to go with my poster designs. If you guys saw my Expendables poster today, but yeah, that's that is our next thing. All the funds from that will go toward the podcast and helping us with our hosting subscriptions and hardware and all that fun stuff. We might even do some charity work with it. So that is my pitch. You can follow me on Twitter at Bringing the Wing. Of course, follow at GrindlinePod1 and at GrindlinePod, and then eventually we'll switch them around. And then there was one more thing. Oh yeah, we are now on TuneIn. TuneIn, if you use TuneIn for your podcasts, we are on TuneIn now. So we are on Spotify, iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, TuneIn, almost everywhere. If you listen on a certain platform and we are not there, let us know and I will get us there.
Stitcher.
There's some good feedback on that last week too.
Yeah. So we're trying to make our rounds on all the platforms.
Yeah.
But I think that's it. So for Ryan and Tyler, I am Greg. You stay classy, Hockey Town.
You guys too. Hey guys, stick around.